Everyone has been talking about how great the iPad is when it's paired with the Magic Keyboard. Unfortunately, it's quite expensive, and as a college student, I don't have $350 to spend when it comes to a keyboard for my iPad. So I went on Amazon to try to find a cheaper option that has a Bluetooth keyboard as well as a trackpad to see if I can get this laptop-like experience, but with little compromises and a huge compromise on the price. So in this video, I'm going to be reviewing this case, and stick around till the end to find out what my verdict is on this case. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new around here, welcome. I make videos on the iPad Pro, and it comes from a perspective of an engineering student in college. So if that's something you like, then please consider liking and subscribing, and we'll get into the video right now. All right, so first up, I'm going to be talking about the price. As you know, the Magic Keyboard is over $300 or $300 if you have the 11-inch. But for this case, I got it for the 12.9-inch for around $60 with tax. Overall, I think the price is fair for this type of product. As far as the connection goes, overall I think it's quite fast even though it's Bluetooth. It doesn't use those smart connectors unfortunately, but I think with the Bluetooth connection, it works pretty decently. As far as setting it up for the first time, it's not that hard to figure it out. You just have to follow the instructions that they provide you in the box. And then once you connect from there, every time you turn on your iPad, it just takes a few seconds for it to connect. All you have to do is press the space bar or something, and then you'll see the RGB lights turn on, and then it'll connect. Overall, I don't have a problem with the connection as far as the Bluetooth goes, and I think it's quite strong and it stays active long enough for you to use it, and the Bluetooth connectivity doesn't seem to have any issues with the trackpad. All right, so what about the keyboard experience, right? So that's going to be one of the biggest components of your experience when it comes to this case. As far as typing on it goes, it's very comfortable to type on, and the keys seem adequate enough in size that you're not going to feel cramped or anything like that. It is going to take a slight adjustment because it is just slightly smaller than a traditional full-size keyboard, but you'll quickly adapt to it, and there's not going to be any accidental bump-ins with your fingers or accidental key presses as far as my experience has gone. And also with the keyboard, it's backlit, which is really cool because it provides a lot of different color options, not just a single color. It has RGB lights, so you can filter through, and they have some plain colors all across, or they're kind of broken into 3 colors, and they have a lot of color options and also different brightness levels. They only have 3 brightness levels, but I think it's more than enough for what you're paying for and also for what you would need in your different use cases. And as far as the keyboard goes, this has something that the Magic Keyboard doesn't have for $300 or $350, and that's going to be a function row. So as far as having the function row and using it, I found it quite helpful because I don't have to go touch the screen and swipe down to get that control center. I can just go ahead and just use those function keys very quickly. The only thing that does not work on the function key is the lock button, and I don't know if that's my unit specifically or if that is just something that is going on in general with it. So maybe your use case might be different as far as that one goes. All right, so what about the trackpad when it comes to using this case? I'm pretty sure a lot of you are clicking on this video to find a case with a trackpad instead of spending, all the money on the Magic Keyboard. So it works fairly well. I think scrolling needs to be smoothed out a lot on this. I think it's going to be the same issues that you might be having with maybe the Bridge keyboard that has a trackpad. So I think as far as this case goes, the trackpad is not great at all, but it is good enough to get you by. But I think you might want to have a Bluetooth mouse instead, because that experience is going to be a lot more fluid and it'll work a lot better than this trackpad. But the trackpad is useful for when you absolutely need it and you don't want to use the touchscreen. Also with the trackpad, another part of the experience is clicking. As far as the clicking goes, it doesn't have that same uniform click that the Magic Keyboard has, and you wouldn't really expect that for a keyboard case of this price. It's one of those where you can only press down on the bottom really. If you click a little bit higher, it has this like really weird triple or double click that I found, and I'll try to show a clip of that right now. Kind of weird, right? So as far as that goes, that's, I would just say that's completely expected of something of this price. All right, so lastly, what about the overall build quality of the case? I think with this case, it is definitely going to be cheap plastic, and I don't think you can expect much more for this price point and having a trackpad, honestly, from a case like this. One thing you can do is maybe add some stickers or something on it to make it look a little bit nicer, or if you can get those leather skins and put it where you would rest your palms, that might help solve any quality issues as far as typing with your palms having rested on the plastic. But overall, I think it's not too bad. I think you can deal with it. And as far as this plastic build quality goes, it doesn't seem too sturdy. I think if you were to drop this, the plastic would easily break and your iPad could go flying depending on how you drop it. And it honestly seems sometimes like the hinge might not be able to support the iPad at certain angles, or if you're holding it by the base, I would honestly kind of hold it a little bit more towards the back of the bottom of the iPad, so that way you don't have to worry about it just kind of breaking off and smashing your iPad, unless you have Apple Care and you don't really care, you know. But also with this, it's going to be a little bit top heavy, which means that if you have it in your lap, it's going to kind of lean back and it might fall off your lap depending on the angle that you have your legs at. And the iPad is angled too far back, then it does kind of tip over as well there. So overall, I honestly don't think you can expect much better than this. And if you were to get this case, make sure you wipe down the inside where your iPad is very good, because there's some weird residue on there that leaves some black marks on your iPad. And I think occasionally we'll do it over time as well, but overall I haven't seen it scratch the case, even though there's no lining on the inside to help protect your iPad against the scratches. But just be cautious and don't just roughly take it off, just to avoid any damage to your iPad. And if you made it this far, give this video a huge thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this video. And then just take a quick moment to talk about my sponsor. There's actually no sponsor, so let's get to the end of the video. Now for the verdict. Obviously, this is not going to be a yes or no to go buy it. It's going to be broken down into a yes and a no answer, and I'm going to break it down a little bit further than that. So why I say yes is for those of you who only have a budget of $50 or $60. I think this case fluctuates in price too, so you might be able to even find it closer to $45. But if you're looking for something with the keyboard and trackpad that fits in that price range, this is not that bad of an option. It would be recommended if you don't care about the trackpad glitching out a little bit. And if you want, you can always get a Bluetooth mouse to hopefully alleviate any issues, because that's a more fluid experience than this. So go ahead and check that out if you are interested. And then if not, then you can find something else. You can check out my other video too, that I just went over a Bluetooth keyboard and a mouse option for you there too. So next is the no answer. Why I say no is for those people who use the Apple Pencil a lot. I use it a lot for notes, and as far as that goes, it's going to be really kind of cumbersome to take the iPad out constantly every time I need to take notes. And I think I'm worried about it scratching if I remove it and put it back in the case over time a lot. Overall, I think the trackpad bothers me a little bit too much. I'm a little bit more OCD when it comes to these things, and I notice the glitches a little bit more. And I think I'd rather just save up for something a little bit, price a little bit higher. Hopefully the Bridge keyboard has some software updates that kind of add some of the gestures back and also make it more of a fluid experience, because then I would love to check that one out. And that one's going to be cheaper than the Magic Keyboard as well. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this video. Let me know down in the comments what you use on your iPad, or if you've used the same case, and let me know your experience as well, especially if you have a Magic Keyboard. I would love to know what your experience is like. And if you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing, as it does help me out a ton. We have seen a decent amount of growth here, and I hope to grow a lot larger than this over time. And if you enjoy my jokes, then smash that like button. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys in the next one.